Too hot. All right, check it out. It turned out pretty good. And we're gonna put seam sealer over that. There was no need to even grind any of that down, really. This all gets covered up. You're never gonna see it. We'll put seam sealer over this to make sure any of those little pinholes don't leak, and we'll put seam sealer on the back side. That'll be good. All these seams are gonna get filled with seam sealer. So anything like this to try to keep moisture and fumes out of here. So that's going to be a process, getting all the seam sealer in all those crevices. You can see the original seam sealer here. They just ran a bead. Looks like it's light gray. And it looks like they painted over top of it. So we're going to put these on here, nail those in there real quick. That's what happens when you forget to turn the gas on. Yeah, it's a little weird. Let's try that again. There we go. Oh man, we're getting there. It's a lot of work, guys, especially when it's 100 degrees out and 100% humidity. But we're getting by. I'm actually having fun. This is not bad at all. I enjoy it. I enjoy the process. And when I was sanding this down with the 80 grit on the DA, we're kind of just scuffing all this up so that it'll give us a tooth for the Rust-Oleum. You don't have to get every single bit of it off. It's nice if you want to, if it's a, you know, if you're going for a super perfect restoration, yeah, get it all the way down to bare metal. But this is a restoration, preservation, patina ride. But we still want to get rid of as much as rust as possible. And I noticed when I was sanding this down, there's still some rust down in these pits. There's a lot of rust pits here. You can see where I filled in a few with the welder there and the copper spoon that kind of ate all the way through. Luckily, it was just a few here and a few on the other side. I figured I'd go ahead and hit this with OSFO again and just kind of knock that stuff back. We'll let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow we'll hit that again with the DA, and hopefully most of that'll be history and we won't have to worry about it. Probably not a huge deal. You could probably paint over that with the Rust-Oleum and it would just encapsulate it and keep it from getting worse. But this will be a little extra insurance, I guess. Plus it's kind of satisfying watching it turn, watching the rust, the Osmo do its job is kind of cool. A lot of this is just glue. It looks like rust, but it's glue, and I'm not too worried about it. If I was doing a really high-end restoration, which I've never done, but I will eventually, we would get all the way down to bare metal and make sure that it was perfect. This one doesn't have to be perfect. All right, you can see it's just a few minutes later, it's already starting to turn black. So that's good. I'm gonna let that soak. We've done this before, but there was a layer of paint and primer from the factory, and all those pits were kind of still covered in that old paint. So as we were digging down into the pits, that rust was starting to come out. So I think we're going to be good. For this ride, we're going to be good. I'm excited to get some paint on here. It's not going to be anything crazy. We're just going to try to make it look halfway decent. All this gets covered with interior anyway, so you're not going to see any of this, but you want it to be protected. So we'll protect it. I've been getting advice from Mike F on how to proceed, so hopefully that'll work out. It's looking good. It's looking good. Got that patch in. We're gonna have a seam sealing party here soon, but I want to get a layer of paint on there first, the protective rust paint, Rust-Oleum, whatever it is. Then once that dries, we'll start doing all the seam sealing, and then once that dries, we'll go back and paint the top coat, base coat, whatever it is. All right, guys, that's the next day. I kind of let the rust inhibitor do its thing. The Osmo, you can see it's dried overnight, and you can see down in the pits there, it's all white and black, and that's where it's killed all the rust. So I'm glad we did that. It's looking pretty good, and I'm gonna put Osmo on this whole area back here once I'm done cleaning this protective coating that they put on here. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit more. I'm gonna let that cure a little bit longer, and I'm gonna work on this outside here. Get this sanded down, put some filler here, and try to do what we did on the other side. Just try to make that seam go away, and just keep going. Just try to keep tightening up all these loose ends. we got that cleaned up pretty good, so we can get the filler on there. But before we do that, I want to finish up some little holes I missed. Fill those in with the welder, clean it up. And there's also a low spot right here. I'm going to try to pop that out a little bit. Try to get it as flat as possible. It's kind of hard to see. You can kind of see it there. There's a little bit of, it's not bad at all, but we'll see if we can pop that out a little bit. This was the first panel I did, one of the first, and it's pretty rough. The other side came out better. Same with the front here. I think I started on this side, did this A-pillar. That A-pillar turned out really good. But these front and rear, call those. Anyway, this area, it's not bad. It's just if I could see where I could do better next time. So let's get it cleaned up, get it ready for filler. All right, that's looking pretty good. We got it cleaned up nice. You can kind of see there's a little low spot right here. But that weld's cleaned up really nice. And we're going to put seam sealer on the back side if there's any little pinholes, which I'm sure there are. See this seam right here? We're going to put seam sealer, rust protection, seam sealer all over that, just in case there's a couple little pinholes that I missed. Just don't want to get any moisture in the cab. Hopefully we'll keep it nice and dry in there. But yeah, that came out pretty sweet. Let's see if we can pop that little dent out just a little bit. If not, no big deal. We'll fix it somehow. It's not terrible, but you can kind of see it right there. See it? Yeah, it's pretty bad right there. That's about it right there. See it? And this, it goes and it stops about right there. It's a little warped. Let's see if we can straighten it out. The only thing I can really get back in there is this tool here, so let's see if that helps. Alright guys, this is looking a little better, but I still have a pretty decent gap there. You can see it. Disappears about right there. So that's kind of what we're looking for, is where you can't see a gap. And we're pretty much gap free. It's not perfect, but we're gap free up until right here. Starts to open up. It gets real thick right there, or deep. If I could go back in time, I could redo this whole thing. Now that I know what I know, a little more experienced, I think I could have it turn out better. But I'm not going to do that. We're just going to keep pushing forward. That's what's great about this project. It's a learning project, and I'm already looking back. You know, this was what, 8 months ago, I think. 7-8 months ago I did this section, and I was still learning. So you can kind of tell it's a little wobbly, a little wonky, but let's see if we can bring that out a little bit with this thing. Let's see, that low spot's right here. I'm just gonna put one right in the middle and see if that'll do it. All right. It's got this little hammer mechanism. Let's see what happens. This thing's a little tricky. This thing right here is kind of weird. How it connects. There we go. And then you just kind of. Yeah, I think that helps. Yeah, it did. All right, let's do a little more right here. Has these little copper things, or whatever these are made out of, brass, and it just arcs to this tip when you push on it, and you push the button. Yeah, that's how it works. Only takes a second. It's working. Put one right here. Ooh, that sucked. It's a little tricky using that thing. Yeah, looking good. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was. lot better. All right. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was. A lot better. You can see there's a little gap there still. We could probably hit it one more time there. But it's really close. You could almost, that's probably within tolerance of your filler. What is it, 1/8? I forget what the tolerance of filler is, but it's supposed to be very minute. We could probably do a couple more right there. Pull this out just a little bit more right there. Oh yeah. Do one more right here. All right, guys, it's looking good. Let's get some filler on there. All right. I'm not completely satisfied with how straight that is, but I can't go back and redo the whole panel. That's not on this car. But I like that I'm not satisfied, because that is the attitude going forward, is to make it the best you can. This stuff has to be stirred up, guys. I think the first time I used it, I didn't stir it up, so. Start with a car you're not worried about messing up. And learn. That was the biggest I think hurdle to get over for me, is the fear of messing up. Once you get over that and you just realize, okay, it's just part of the journey, it's just part of learning, you just got to dive in. See that, guys? Let's see. Let's just start with a little bit. So we got, that's actually a pretty good amount right there. That's probably more than we need. All right, how's that? Ah, I mixed it up pretty good. It still came out watery. I wonder if that means it's bad. Well, hopefully that'll work. Let's try it. See what happens. Try to get it on there before it gets hard. That looks pretty good. Yep. All right, let's do it. I'm not really worried about this area back here, but we'll play with it. This can all be hidden behind the fender. Yeah, we don't even need to mess with this. I don't know why I just did that, but it's all right. Not a big deal. I think that's it. It's setting up. Is it already setting up? It's all right. Yeah, it's starting to set up. All right, we'll let that dry and then we'll knock it down. we got the second coat on there. It's looking pretty smooth. Letting it dry up. We'll knock it down with the DA. Ooh, we're getting there. Got a little vibration fatigue in my hand from the DA. I think we are pretty good for this project, guys. I could keep going, spend hours and hours trying to get this perfect. But I mean, I think some of these areas are almost perfect. We really did. You can see this is where that big low spot was. You can see all the little tack spots that we pulled out, and these are the lows. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. I'm still learning. I got a lot to learn, guys, but every little bit helps. Looking good. I'm gonna put a little bit of rusty metal primer. And we're gonna call it a day on this one. I'm running out of time, so we're out of time today, but we'll be back. Let's put some primer on this. Good as new. All right, guys, see ya. See you on the next one. Later. All right, one more look before we go. Let's see how good we did here. Not too bad. Kind of hard to tell. There's different shadows and stuff going on, but you can see a little bit of a dip right here, just a tiny one. But barely. I mean, it's not bad. There's a little bit of a hump right in the middle where the seam is, and that is, you know, the part where if I could just do it over, that would go away. But considering the hump in the middle, which is unfortunate, it is what it is. We got it pretty good. I'm happy with that. Let's see. You can kind of see where the Bondo's under the primer there. overall, not bad. All right, guys, overall not bad. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. For this project, it'll do just fine. I know I've said that a few times, but it is what it is. This is a learning process for me, and I'm learning. Still got a lot to go, but we're getting there. Not bad. Not bad. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one later. Appreciate it.